Hey everyone, Ekman here with another video, and today we have a top 16 breakdown for the Carta Magica Niagara Regionals that happened this past weekend. It was 97 players and 7 rounds of Swiss into this top 16, and a couple of things before we get started. First, if you guys enjoy these videos, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe. It does mean a lot, and it does help the channel a lot too. And then also, thank you to Carta Magica for not only running the event, but for supplying the deck list. And also, I believe they recorded some of the offline rounds, so you can check those out on their YouTube when they upload those later this week. And then lastly, this is kind of a side thing, but I personally was playing in one of the online digital client tournaments that Bandai was running this weekend too. Things decide of how like sometimes it wasn't working or whatever. I ended up getting first place in my pod. So if you guys want the deck list that I use there as well, it's on the team deck list page, which you can find on the website as well. And here's the list just in case you want to see it real quick. But I think Vegeta's really good. And if you guys want me to re-upload some of the matches that I did during that run, let me know. I can do that as well. Just let me know if you guys are interested in it. But going over it in general, again, we do have this top 16 where 6 Vegetas, with one of them getting third, but Aandroidd 17, 2 copies of those with one going first, 2 of the Son Gohan childhood, 2 Jiren, 1 Zamasu fused, 1 Beerus, 1 Son Goku GT, and a Bardock. So generally still very viable. I think every color is able to top in this meta outside of yellow, unfortunately, unless something changes. I don't think yellow's quite there, mostly because like it just doesn't have like a really good answer to red and Jiren, I think, right now. And then I still think Vegeta is the best leader in this game. I know it didn't get first, but just it did top a lot. It did get 6 of the top 16, and it seems really, really strong when it does well too. So but again, I think this is still very good for how viable a lot of decks and colors are right now, and it's really cool to see what this meta is looking like right now too. But we're going to go over the top placing list for each one of these leaders, starting off with our first place list, which is Benjamin's version of Aandroidd 17. And I'll be honest, like Aandroidd 17 does not change at all. I think I've mentioned this before. There are literally no cards from FB03, and I think that's fine because FB03 is kind of more of specifically for the Piccolo archetype, and other cards are generically good, which I don't think green really need any generically good cards right now anyways. So but we do have obviously 17, 18 still best card in this deck by a mile. Being able to ramp and be aggressive at the same time is nice. And also there's the Trunks Future. We just honestly just need more ways to be able to convert our energy up to 6 as soon as possible. So, if we're at 4, we go to 5, and then we're able to use our Aandroidd effect kind of thing. So being able to do that, I think, is really helpful. So since we have 3 extra energy after the Aandroidd 17, 18, so obviously Destructor Strength works as well. If we're at 5, we can do 17, 18 twice if we need to, but obviously getting to 6 so we can use effects for like this Aandroidd 17, 18 leader are also like the 2-drop. You get the draw and draw 1, trash 1. All of those are really, really nice. So and other than that, we know what this deck looks like. Big Broly 8-drop wins a lot of games too, which is strong. And I think this deck is just going to be pretty solid for the Lex a little bit. So this is Benjamin, and congratulations for their finish there. Next up, we've got some Gohan childhood. So this is Alexander's version of it, and this is a really I've been wanting to play this leader a little bit more. We know that 17, 18 is good, but mostly because we're able to get like a little bit more removal and I think consistency with this deck. Mostly we have like the 3-drop Sengoku, so this can just ramp for free, as in like you can ramp without putting something in your opponent's energy. But there's just so many cards that are like protected, are like also like for example against black we have our Son Goku GT 4-drop. We also have like Jiren. This can answer all those cards, right? The fact that this is a green deck that can answer red Jiren, I think is really remarkable for that way, because we put it into the energy. Obviously not like the best form of removal, but it's still removal where they're not able to just sit behind a 4-drop, because we have our Broly BRs that would pop it, our cells, cards like that, which generally would not get around the protection, at least the one-time protection from Jiren. We're able to just put it back into their energy and then just kind of chill from there. So I think that's really nice. We do have just a lot of other just good green cards in this one. Again, nothing new from FB03, but I think the build for this has changed since FB02, since we are also running the Son Gohan childhood, which is great for getting rid of, like, again, Son Goku GTs. And then we also just have like our big top end with 2 additional copies of Cell on top of the Broly BR. So I really want to test this guy out. I think this was still pretty viable right now. I know Aandroidd 17 is probably the premier green deck, but I think Son Gohan childhood also has some chances for this too. So this is Alexander's build, and congratulations for their finish there. Next up, we've got Vegeta, and you'll notice this one's pretty similar to the build that I've been running as well. I think that Vegeta is really good. So this is Hieu's version of it there. The only thing, like the only card I don't like super love right now, like 2-drop Vegeta. Don't get me wrong, it's a good card. But I feel like it's only a good card if you see it on curve and you get some pressure. But I also don't think like we need any self-awaken in this deck, because your opponent will never ever want to awaken you. They'll just want to they'll pressure you after you awaken, but not until you awaken. So there are just some weird games that I've done too, where I just stay at 5 life for a long time. But we're blue, we get a lot of value from our P-loss and get a lot of advantage from that too. So other than that, almost been a newer ad for me, but I do like this card a lot. Being able to just be like a 1-drop. Give your leader plus 20k for the turn is fantastic. The fact that there's a 1-drop Earthling is good. It's a 10k outright is fantastic. We have our Vegito, which this card's been, I think, really, really good lately. On release, it wasn't fantastic because like when the meta that it was released in was with red, right? So if you bounce a Kefla back into their hand, Topku was going to just pay 1 again and play it for, and get the advantage. So the fact that bouncing the hand wasn't good on release means that this card wasn't good. But now when people are just trying to play 1 card per turn on tempo in a lot of decks, this gets a lot of value, and it's been very, very strong. So in general, I think Vegeta is one of the strongest decks in this format, if not the strongest, and congratulations to Hieu for their finish there. And then also we do have another blue deck. We also have Danny from Zamasu Fused, and Danny's been really, really adamant that Zamasu is the deck for him, and honestly, he's been really making it work, which is really cool. So the fact that we're pretty much the same as Vegeta. The difference between the two decks in my mind is that Zamasu is like super duper control heavy. Vegeta, the way that I play it is pretty similar to Zamasu. You just take all, you get out as many of your early hits as you can. You get a lot of value from your peel-off and your cycling, and then late game you're able to just pressure. The fact that you're just able to play some 5-drops every turn, I think, is good too. So some additional adds from this build. We do have the Trunks Future, which I do like this card. The fact that it's also a 3-drop Earthling is really important, because you can get it back with Videl, which is neat since it's any 3 or less. This is good at just getting rid of like Jiren as well, even if it's just temporarily. It's great. Sometimes you want to awaken, not necessarily I think in this deck, but in other blue decks. And then we do also have a little bit more control aspects of having 2 copies of the Absolute Lightning, which is great too. Just bottom decking anything. There's really no protection for this too. And I think like green, like when we're playing 17-18, it's less likely that they just find as many Brolys. I find like sometimes like they don't run like the full 4 copies. So if you're able to get rid of 1 Broly, there's a good chance they don't have a second one at times, which is strong too. But blue's really good. Blue's in a really good position, and I think Zamasu Fuse can also take advantage of that too. So this is Danny's build. Congratulations for their top there. Next up, we've got our 2 red decks. We've got Beerus first, which is David's version of it here, getting 9th place, and I do think like this deck did get a good bet. Like I really do like the 3-drop Beerus. It's strong, especially if you go second. If you play 1 and you go off, it's like most decks, unless you're playing as blue and they have Absolute Lightning, they have legitimately no way to remove this when they're at 4 and you're at 4, right? Like it is such a great card. I think the only like other way is like you could do like 1-drop Mai into like the sickle, but like even then that's 2 cards to get rid of their big 5-drop 35k body, which probably already attack for crit for some good damage, and the fact that it's a potential board clear it's just like a really good combo early game that I think helps a lot. But you also notice this is a pretty personalized build, a lot of individual ratios, which I think is neat. This card is still dumb. I'll still say it every time. Like the fact that it can buff itself, it's a 1-drop 20k. It's crazy. I don't know what they were thinking. This is crazy how good this card is. So I think that's very strong for the deck, especially since it is still a 10k by itself. We have the new Vegeta, which I like this card. It's neat. Being able to like get a removal and also just be like a 50k for 2. It just means like you discard 2 cards for 2 15k combos, which is kind of neat as well. And then our Kefla we have our 1 of, and just kind of the rest of this deck. So we also do run like the new Spear of Destruction, which is a neat card for removal. I still think like just like the God Kamehameha is just a little bit better, but I understand. And then also just the regular Kamehameha for the extra boost. So like the removal, I like the Roomshi's been doing a lot of work too, and in general, this is a really just standard red deck list. So I don't have much more to say, but congratulations to David for their finish there. And then the new red deck, we do have Jiren, which I've been really liking this deck personally. I've been playing the Tournament of Power Arena. I think that one's just a little bit better for what this deck wants to do. Just be like super duper control-y. And most when I play it, you're playing it more similarly to more of like a Zamasu deck where you always want to be on the front side because you want to make sure that like you get your card draw in your cycle, and it's really hard for you to lose, and then you can get there later. This card's great, except for like every deck has a way to get out of this, which is a little bit unfortunate, but still just playing a 4-drop 30k for the turn and attacking with it isn't the worst thing, as long as you can spend the time to do so, which I think is fine. We do still run like the Kefla combo. This card is still like super good for the fact that we don't have like a lot of easy removal. Otherwise, this makes a lot of decks like it just removes a lot of cards, which is really good too. And then just kind of again like the Tournament of Power Arena. So I think this deck is strong. I still think the arena itself is needed. The fact that you just get a lot of value and you can really afford to set it up early game helps out this deck a lot, because you can be like a 30k leader once per turn, which is kind of tricky for some decks to get over. Not Vegeta, unfortunately, but a lot of others they can't do that, especially like Bardock. They are swinging with a 25k leader. You can just use the top arena and then you still get out of it as if you're awakened, which I think is good. So, but I think that Jiren's good. If I was to say which one I thought was better between Beerus and Jiren, I think Beerus is still like a little bit better, but it's pretty close. And I think it's in a good spot. So this is Yann's version. Congratulations for their finish there. And to wrap it up, we got two of the new black decks. We got the Son Goku GT, which we have Giovanni's version of it here. And we also have Martin's version of the Bardock. So I'm just going to talk about both right now. They're pretty similar, right? The fact that black is the newest color in the game means that its card pool is a little bit shallow, which is fine because we do have a lot of great cards. And honestly, when I thought about black coming out in this format, my only worry was that it was such a deck that was dependent on going second, and not like hard dependent, since we do have like the Kakarot to help us get our energy marker. But it's so much better going second, right? You're not always going to go second every game, right? And most decks I think want to go second in general right now, and so because of that, it's a little bit tricky to contend that this deck is it's not as consistent. That's the word I'm looking for. Consistent because of how skewed it is when you go second versus going first. So I think that's something that's gonna primarily hold this deck back a little bit compared to other decks where going first or second does matter, but not as like dependent as like you get an energy marker and you get to go off with it. So we do have our new secret rare too, which I do want to mention that Giovanni only ran 3 of this guy, and I don't know if it's just like this is the most expensive card in this game right now, so I don't know if that was part of it, or it was ease of access kind of thing, but it is still really good. So but you don't have to run the full 4 copies is what I'm trying to say on that one. We do also run like the 3-drop Bardock, which this card is really good for GT. I think this one's way better than the Bardock leader. Being able to make this permanently 35k for the turn just helps us build like a really big dual attacker, which is great. And then also looking at the Bardock version, just more of like the I feel like I've played this exact build, if I'm being super honest, right? We do have like the Borgos, which lets us just be like a 10k at times. We have like the Para brothers, which gets us like an extra turn sometimes late game. We have like the Hercule GT, which is like a balanced version of Pilaf, and then our super rare suite of the Pan GT, Goku GT, and Bardock too. So I think these are like pretty standard. There's not a lot of variety. The only other card like that's newer or like attack option is Dr. Mew. So activate main once per turn for 1. You can discard 1 card from your hand if you don't have an energy marker. You can place 1. So it's something that you have to do like early game. It's like a backup copy of like your Kakarot, which is still fine because it's a 10k, so you can kind of afford to do that, which I think is good. But I think both decks are in a good spot too. So we got Giovanni's and Martin's version. Congratulations for their finishes there. And that's going to be it for this video. Again, if you guys want any of the deck lists from this event or any other FB03 events, you can check out my website in the description below, Eggman Events. And that's going to be it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.